Hello there, back to cleaning the carbs. I think I've got all the parts that I need. Might need to find another few pieces along the way. These are effectively clean, but there's still quite a lot of staining around the edges. Going to try and get some of that off. Got some carb cleaner, got some brushes. I need to clean in the fuel pipes. In fact, I need to clean all of the pipes really. I shall do what I can, get them as clean as I can. They've got to work, but other than that, looks wise, I can put up with a bit of staining. I'm not that fussed. It's going to be a bike that I use pretty much all the time, so I'll get it as clean as I can, but I'm not going to vapor blast or shot blast or anything. Yeah, I'll see how I get on. Okay, so these are basically clean now. I've laid them out 1, 2, 3 and 4. We've got the bottoms, the fuel chambers at the bottom. I've got a whole load of bits and pieces sat there to put in them. I shall start laying out what I've got so I know where everything goes. And that's it. There's just a little bit of, this needs a bit of oil on it, it's a little bit stiff. Other than that, I will start putting things together. See you in a bit. Right, we have everything laid out. The only thing that I'm going to be reusing, which I'm not quite so happy about, is these springs, because I don't seem to be able to find that spring anywhere. But I've got everything else and that'll be fine. It's perfectly usable, it's just been taken off. This has been buckled and bent at some point. I've got another one which, if I can use that, I will do. If not, I will just straighten this up. That'll straighten, that'll be fine. So the next part of this video is going to be putting all this lot back together, piece by piece, carb by carb. I'll start on one, work my way through, get all 4 together, and then start putting them together. Yeah, I've got to just whip these apart, get the needle valve out, get the needle out, replace that with a new needle. Yeah, that'll be fun. See you soon. Right, here we're going to put a carb back together. There are 2 different kinds of carbs. There's 3 normal carbs, and then there's the reference carb. The reference carb has got this bit on. It's the one where you can't set the float height. You set the float height by the main throttle, and then you adjust all the others to this carb. So this is number 2. So what we have is a top with some new nuts, new screws, sorry, new bolts. The float bowl, new bolts. We've got the screw for the bottom, a drain plug. We've got the pilot jet all cleaned, floats, little bar that holds floats on. We have the throttle body, needle valve's got to be replaced, and the whole carb. So this has all been cleaned out and dealt with. Now this comes from David Silver, it's the kit. So you've got a little diaphragm for the top, little gasket for the top, rubber gasket for the float bowl. That's pilot. With the old pilot you can't get those very easily. Main jet and needle jet, new needle, float thing, there's the jet. Right, and we've got a couple of O-rings. These two bigger ones are for the link tubes, fuel link tubes. This one is for the float, for the float chamber drain plug. That can go on there. And these two are spares. So I'll put all of those four in here for now, get them out of the way. Right, first off, let's get this in. Does help with just a little bit of WD-40, just to get the little rubber ring to slide in. Otherwise, it gets caught on the side and doesn't want to go in very easily. So we'll just do that up. It's just got caught. Let's just poke it in. Right, so I've fought with that little rubber ring. That's all in there now. Sometimes they can be a little bit temperamental. So we've got a gasket that fits on here. There's all these little tiny tabs around the edge that it just pops into. No need for any gasket sealant or anything bizarre like that. There we go, just sneaks in all of those little bits. You can just check around it, just make sure that it's not going to pinch anywhere. So that's fine, so that's done to one side. Right. I'll just move that over to one side, don't need that for a minute. So we have got main jet, drop that in there. Is it going to seat? Yeah, there we go. That will push the jet down. And then we have jet on the end. Screwdriver, where's my screwdriver? Yeah. Doesn't have to be drastically tight, but it does want to be tight enough. Right, pilot jet is in the little hole on the side there. Push that in. It's a push fit. There we go, just make sure that's in. Righty, got air valve, air valve, there we go, right. So we take the little rubber cap off, put the spring on, a little washer, and you go, and a little tiny O-ring. That will all squash down once it gets in there. And bring the carb to it, otherwise all the bits fall off. Back it off 1.5 turns. Half, 1, 1.5. have the floats. Pop your little bit on the end of the tab. Drop it in the hole. There we go. And pop the bar in. This one's got a bit of an edge on one end. We'll pop it in from that way anyway. That doesn't want to go in that way. You have to be quite careful of these posts. I don't like to use any force unless I have to. There we go. So set the float height. Get it so that it's just falling on the pin. That's falling on the pin quite nicely. Right, just falling on the pin. It has to be 14 mil. You can see we'll have to bend the tab a little bit on this one. And there we go. I'll just bend this up a little bit. Just gently easing that middle tab up just a little bit to allow the floats to sit, they essentially sit level. So 14 and how far off are we? Look at that. Just about perfect. Just checking all angles, perfect. Alright. So that's all together there. Right, so we're finished in the bottom. So we can put this back together. Get the 3 bolts. They go on there. Net them up. Right, so that's the bottom end all done. Oh, we've still got that little bitty screw to go in there. That just caps off your vacuum hole so you can take that out and calibrate your carbs, sync your carbs later on and knit that up tightish. Right, so we have a needle to take out. So there's 2 little screws inside there. I don't know if you can see that. One that side and one there. So I just need to get those out. They can be a little bit tricky because it's a bit fiddly to get in here. Don't want to round the ends off, so you can put a little bit of force on. There's one. And the other one. It's just in there. Right, pay attention to which way this comes out of here. So that folds that way over the lower edge of the throttle body. There we go. Pop the old needle out. I know these are old and old and worn. That is it going to focus? Get to it. Are you going to focus? No, it doesn't want to focus anyway. That little bit there. That is on the middle groove out of 5. So we want to do the same with this one. New needle on the middle. Oop. Middle setting. Have to be very delicate, very careful with these because they're quite delicate. That drops in there. Boop. Sticks out the bottom. This linkage wants to go. Remember, it folds back over the lower edge. Put the difficult screw in first. Put that one in first. So, fiddly little job this. That looks like it's in the hole. Certainly don't want to get these cross-threaded or gnarled up. Don't do that one up too tight until you've got the other side in. Line the holes up. There we go. Do that nice and tight, not too tight, but so it's got a good bit of bite on it. And the other side. There we go. Right, a little squirt of WD-40 on all the links. Just want a little bit around. Don't like to put anything together dry. Make sure that's running. Take off a little bit of the excess. Not that that's too critical. Then we can drop this in the hole. Pop straight down into the valve. Just make sure that's all in. That can have just a little squirt in there, just so it's not sat in there all dry. Oh. There we go. Right, and then we can put the top on just to keep all the muck out. So, put the little gasket on. Little hat locates on the 2 holes on the gasket. Put the top together. Now I'm not going to do these up tight because I've still got to put the whole body together, but just nip it so that it doesn't fall apart. Another body done. There we go. Didn't take too long. So we've got another one to do. Yeah, excellent. See you in a bit. So we have 4 carbs all nice and rebuilt. These are numbered. You can see that. I'll just turn the. Let's just turn that one. Right. We have number 1, number 2 with the extra linkages on, number 3 and number 4. They're also numbered on the float bowls as well. Then we have all of these bits to fit back on. I know we've got new bolts for these. These are all old bolts. I shall start putting these together in a bit. Cheers, bye. Right, let's get these carbs put together then. So we've got carbs 3 and 4. We'll start with those first. Then we'll move on to 1 and 2. So we can get that one on first. Got the fuel pipe in the middle. And that threads on there. Stick the fuel pipe together. And then we can put these in there. Right, so we get the first one on. These little screws here. Screw that in, get that nice and tight. Right, one is together. Next one. These just need a little bit of compression because of the fuel pipe to get that one on. So that is the easy part. These aren't particularly difficult to get together, apart from a spring in the middle. We'll just get these bits done fairly tight as we go. Right. They work, that's fine. That will be clamped together once it gets a bit further forward. Right, so now we come to the fun part. Is that one, I believe. What have we got? These two are, that bit can go on. That goes on that way. Do this up for now. Might just want to undo it a bit in a minute, but we'll get it in place so we don't forget it. Right, let's put these next ones together. So we have a choke bar, has to go on there, and goes through. Join the fuel parts together. It's not quite gone in there, but that will tighten up in a minute. Right. Thread this on here. We've got the little plastic washer on there. Thread them through. That goes in there. Right. This is going to be easier on a couple of bits of wood. Fuel pipe in, that's that together. Right, we've got this spring in here which should have a graceful curve on the end. Hasn't got a graceful curve because it was broken when I got it. So we'll make do with what we have for now. If I can find a replacement at some point, I will do. It will get replaced and all will be good. So in the meantime, this spring here, which is out of place at the moment, but we need to get through past this bit here. It can be a little bit of a fiddle to get past that. Right, where are we? Right, we've got the spring compressed. That needs to come together there. That can spin around out of the way. So when you get this, you need about 5 hands to hold all this together. Oh, there, right. That can stay there out of the way. Bring that round. Little spring has to hook over here. Almost in the right place. Got fat fingers, which doesn't help. And this is going to spring again. There. Right. That then has to go underneath there. Each time try not to lose what you've already done. Oop. Still wants to be in that little hole there. Right, you will go together. Right. This last little bit is going to be temperamental. I'm sure there's an easier way of doing this. Right, there. Right, and that will be there. Right, get this grub screw back in here, hold the top on. So that can't go anywhere. We'll go back and tighten all these bits in a while. Right, let's get some of these little screws in. Screwdriver. Put that one on, that looks like it's in the right place. And this one, someone had chewed up the hole on the top. So that is a square-headed, slotted screw. Right, before we go any further, just make sure that they all work, and that works. Sweet. Now we have to pull this all together. Just put a few of these in just to grab it all together. One in there. Just to hold it. Needs to slide into this. Right, sweet. Next bit will be the chokes. Just do these bits up. Pull them all tight. Right, let's sink the carbs as best we can off the bike. So we're going for carb number 2. We want to sink just the pistons, just get them so that they're basically the same. So pick number 2, and we get that so that just with the idle, get that so it's just rubbing, just gently rubbing. Don't want to damage the piston. This is all very delicate, so you have to be very careful. Just something that's smooth, round, that will just slide in, and then we can go through all the other pistons. Right, so we're adjusting this screw here. The nut itself is loose. All of these nuts are loose. So by screwing that down, pushes the piston down. Screwing it up lifts the piston up. So that won't go in. So we want to lift the piston slightly until we can just get it in. Do that with each of them. So you can just get that underneath the piston. Oh, a little bit more. There we go. Got to be very careful that you don't scratch anything or damage anything. That one should be right, that's fine. Let's get these as close as we can. This is all we can do at the moment, get it as close as we can. Do the little nuts up, finger tight. Try again, just make sure that they are very, very close. That is that one. Once again, just finger tight for now. There we go. And that one is perfect. Right. See where they settle. Let's come up a little bit. That's it. That's fine. That's just a fraction. Yeah, that's fine. Right, and then we can do those up. And I'll just check them again before we're finished. Don't do them up too tight at the moment. There we go. Perfect. 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 Lovely. And they are synced, so we can put the tops back on. I will just do those up a little bit tighter. Just grip the nut and hold the screw straight. Just make sure that that doesn't move. There we go. That just locks them all off, and then we'll put the tops back on. Right, let's get the little choke flaps on here. So, just suspend that in there for now. That will just hold that upright. So, these are a little bit fiddly to get in. We'll start with this side, I think. Do one at a time. Oop. There we go. One. Two. Right, as you'll see, I've now put all the bits together, put all the chokes in. I've had to make a temporary plate for this because I couldn't get the last choke piece in, choke valve in, because this was just too far apart and it wouldn't pull in together. So now that's in, so all the bits are working as they should, which is good. That can be put to one side for now. I've put a bit of WD-40 inside just to lubricate the slides. Everything is moving as it should. Springs on the back. So that is effectively done until I can put it onto a bike and finally tune it. But yeah, all working nicely. Excellent. See ya.